All right, so we got Josh here. And Josh is going to demonstrate how to change oil and change blades on one of these HRC 216 HXA Honda mowers. All right, Josh, you ready? Mm-hmm. All right, so first of all, we're going to put that thing on its side. And what we're going to do is we're going to be orienting the air filter side up, just like he's got right there. And we're going to turn off the fuel, like he's probably already done. We'll just say he's done it. And the reason you want the air filter side up is because when the carburetor drips out, it has vents inside there, and what it does is it will drip the gas right into the air filter, and these air filters are fairly expensive. So, now what Josh is going to do is Josh is going to place the drain pan back around the side here, and he's going to pull the dipstick tube. And when you do that, when you already have your drain pan underneath and you have the mower on the side, you're already putting oil in the pan. That way it keeps your ground nice and clean, because some of these environmental people, well, they don't like dirty dirt, and it costs lots of money to haul off dirty dirt. So, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change out blades on this bad boy. So, what he's going to do is he's going to grab his 14mm gun. He's going to check with his hand to make sure it's oriented in the left direction and run it for a second. So, check it with your hand. So that's going the wrong way, or is it going the right way?
Lefty-loosey.
Lefty-loosey. All right, let's do it. So this is a 14mm bolt on each one of these. There's 2 of them. And he's going to pull those blades off. And these are actually new blades. We're just doing this again to show you. But now, if you pay attention, the wingtips on these blades, it's very important to orient the wingtips upward. These blades turn in what they would refer to as a counterclockwise position from the bottom. If you look at it from the top, it's actually clockwise. But anyways, you're going to want to make sure that when you're doing this, you get on the mulching blades, you get the same side, your cutting edge right here, oriented in the same direction as your blade when you're putting it on there. Just like so. So he's got his 2 cutting edges right there, and what he's going to do next is we're going to throw these back on there, which is real quick. He's going to put a washer on his bolt, because these have got thrust washers or spring washers, whatever you want to call them. He's going to make sure he orients it the right way. That's upside down, Josh. Oops. I didn't even catch that beforehand. No, I meant the bolt was in upside down. No, you got the blades going the right way.
I was like, wait a minute.
Well, I'm like spacing out here. I'm not good at being a teacher. I'm not good at giving directions either. Josh is very forgiving with me. So he's throwing them on there. And what he's also making sure to do too is he's actually have some collars on the BBC assembly here, which is your blade brake control. And what you'll do is you'll line these top holes up with the collars on there when you throw your bolts in. And he's going to run them down by hand. And he's going to make sure they're centered. Here, I'll help him out here. So you make sure that that blade's centered on the top, because if you can wiggle it back and forth, that means it's not centered yet. Like there. Now, yeah, so if you can see, that one's moving up and down as he tightens it down. Now it's centered. Now all we're doing is moving the BBC. So now he's going to tighten it with the gun. You're going to want to just go zip, zip. You're going to want to make sure you orient it in the right direction. Always do it by hand first. And watch it. But it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And now we're just waiting for the oil to drain. And it looks like our oil might be done draining. So we can... It just got a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there is a little bit. So, we're going to pause for a second.
To do things, why not to do things, those all.
So here, we're going to give Josh a tip from the pro. So when you have these up in the air like this, you can actually check the ratchets. If you notice it doesn't turn back, these have got little fingers inside there that keep it going in the right direction. And a lot of times they will go from one side to the other. So if you check both of these sides, make sure that they freewheel forward and that they don't spin backwards, because what happens is the transmission grabs a hold of it forward and it pushes it forward, which is, in a sense, it's kind of doing a reverse thing, because it actually grabs the track to go the direction it wants to go from the axle. And like Josh just said a minute ago, where if you ever notice on a Honda, if you could pull back on both of these, it's just a quick check here when you're doing this. But if you can go forward and you can hear it click, and then you can pull back and it locks up both wheels versus free wheels on one wheel, that means that both of those ratchets are working correctly and the pins aren't broken and the ratchet assemblies aren't collapsed. Alright, so I think we're good to go here. We're going to flip this mower back over, we're going to turn back on the fuel, and we are going to oil this bad boy up. So, he's putting our drain pan aside, he's wiping off the dipstick. Here, I'm going to turn back on the fuel here because you don't want the guy going out saying, "Why didn't you fix the thing correctly?" So, now that we got our fuel back on, we can start adding our oil. And Josh is going to be putting in, looks like, Napa 10W30, which Honda recommends 10W30, which is good stuff. And it looks like he got the full synthetic because we know people like to, as landscapers, we prolong things as long as we can. So full synthetic is always best. So he's going to be adding it down the dipstick tube. And these will generally take about 1 quart, sometimes 3/4 of a quart, depending on what it is. Do you need a funnel, Josh?
I'm gonna say, see if I can hit it.
You want to hit it or you want a funnel?
I got a funnel right here.
I could probably get you a funnel if you don't have one. All right, here we go.
For real this time.
All right, so he's going to be putting oil in here. So he's going to put about 1 quart in, and if you notice, if you add it too quickly, it's going to run out the top of the dipstick here. So you want to watch, make sure that doesn't happen. Kind of add it slowly like he's doing. Another trick that I have is what I do is on my gear oil tops, I will pull one of those snouts off and I'll put it in a quart bottle. That way I can measure it. Or you could do it this way. These bottles are graduated on the side here where you could see about 1 quart. And I think this is a 5-quart jug, so you can see about how much you're putting in. And the other thing too, when you're checking one of these throughout the season, if you watch the way that Honda has this sticker right here, the oil level, it shows you not with the dipstick in, but with the dipstick on the top. You set it on there to check it. You don't just thread it down in there. If you thread it down in there, you're going to get an accurate reading. But if you set it on the top, right where the threads are touching the threads, and then you pull it back out, we can see that Josh did a perfect job of filling it. So, Josh is going to tighten that back up and he's going to fire it off and make sure we ain't got any vibrations or any other bullshit going on. And then if you're like us, where you clean them, the best thing to do when you're cleaning one of these is to make sure that you run the mower afterwards. So now that we got that going, here it goes. Vroom. And I think we're good.
Perfect.